I am moved and very happy to see you here in Burkina Faso. Since the SNC events, it is more than a pleasure that you chose to come here to Burkina. They surely told you that it is an unvisitable country, they told you that it's death here, it's war, there is only negative things, and Burkina is called black. That here, only blood and weapons flow, that's what is said elsewhere.
Will African nations be left isolated if they sever ties with the West? While Western powers have often claimed that Burkina Faso would be helpless without their support, the reality is quite different. Countries like Venezuela and Cuba have shown solidarity with Burkina Faso. Following the lead of Iran and Russia, they believe that Burkina Faso's distancing from the West is advantageous. However, the West is not pleased with this development. They disapprove of President Traore, who is responsible for these decisive moves. Historically, we know how Western powers react to leaders who do not align with their interests. So the question remains, will history repeat itself? Let's find out. Imagine a nation in the heart of Africa defying global superpowers, forging new alliances, and rewriting its destiny. Burkina Faso, under the leadership of Ibrahim Traore, is navigating an unprecedented geopolitical landscape by aligning with South American and Russian allies. But what has sparked the recent geopolitical shift in Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation in West Africa, has long been subject to the influences of former colonial powers. Under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traore, the nation is now challenging these historical ties. Traore, who rose to power in September 2022, made a decisive move on February 8, 2024, by expelling French troops from Burkina Faso. This bold action marked the beginning of a significant geopolitical shift. The expulsion was a clear statement against neo-colonialism and a bid for greater autonomy. Traore's decision set the stage for new alliances, particularly with countries in South America, such as Venezuela. The historical ties between Burkina Faso and France were rooted in colonialism, with France exerting significant influence over its former colony. However, Traore's administration sought to break free from this legacy. The expulsion of French troops was not just a symbolic act, but also a strategic action to reclaim sovereignty and reduce external interference. This action resonated with many African nations that have experienced similar post-colonial dynamics, positioning Traore as a figurehead in the fight for true independence.
Burkina Faso has decided to end a military accord that allowed French troops to fight militants on its territory, the government said on Monday. The West African country is facing an insurgency by groups linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. Large swathes of land have been taken over and millions displaced in the wider Sahel region. On Saturday, Burkinabe national television reported that the government had suspended a 2018 military accord with Paris on January 18th, giving France 1 month to withdraw its troops. The next day, French President Emmanuel Macron said he was awaiting clarifications from transitional President Ibrahim Traore. But on Monday, government spokesman Rimtalba Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo said, "We don't see how to be more clear than this."
Burkina Faso's expulsion of French troops sent shockwaves through the international community. It signaled a broader movement towards decolonization and self-determination that is gaining momentum across the African continent. Traore's actions were met with mixed reactions. Some praised his boldness, while others warned of the potential consequences. This pivotal moment laid the foundation for Burkina Faso's redefined foreign policy, focusing on establishing alliances with nations that support its vision of sovereignty and economic independence. In recent history, many African nations have faced the challenge of balancing relationships with former colonial powers while striving for genuine independence. Traore's move to expel French troops is part of a larger trend where African leaders are increasingly rejecting neo-colonial influence in favor of more equitable partnerships. This shift is seen as a necessary step towards achieving long-term stability and prosperity. The implications of this shift are profound. By distancing itself from France, Burkina Faso is not only asserting its sovereignty, but also sending a message to other African nations that dependence on former colonial powers is not the only development path. Traore's administration is actively seeking to build alliances based on mutual respect and shared interests, rather than historical ties rooted in exploitation. As we delve deeper, we will explore the pivotal alliances Burkina Faso is forming and their potential impacts. Let's first talk about its ties with Venezuela. So, how did the relationship between Burkina Faso and Venezuela come to be? And what are the key aspects of their alliance? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. The relationship between Burkina Faso and Venezuela began to take shape immediately after Traore's bold move to expel French troops. On February 8, 2024, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro extended an invitation to Traore, signaling the start of a new era in bilateral relations. This invitation led to a significant meeting where Burkina Faso's Foreign Minister Jean-Marie Traore and Venezuela's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Iván Gil, signed 20 cooperation agreements. These agreements spanned various sectors, including aeronautics, agriculture, civil protection, culture, sports, oil, education, and science and technology. Such comprehensive cooperation signifies a deep commitment to mutual development and the strengthening of ties. Venezuela's support is not limited to economic agreements, but extends to military backing, highlighting a shared anti-imperialist stance. Minister Gil emphasized Venezuela's willingness to continue strengthening ties of friendship with Burkina Faso and all African nations within the framework of South-South cooperation. The agreements included plans for a delegation of specialists and technicians in oil matters to visit Venezuela, underscoring the strategic importance of energy cooperation. This partnership positions Burkina Faso to benefit from Venezuela's experience in the oil sector, potentially boosting its economic prospects. The cooperation agreements cover a broad range of areas, each critical for the development of both nations. In aeronautics, there are plans for joint ventures that could lead to technological advancements and improved infrastructure. In agriculture, the focus is on sharing expertise to enhance food security and boost local production. The cultural exchanges aim to foster mutual understanding and strengthen social ties between the two nations. Sports and education are also significant components of the agreements. By collaborating in these fields, Burkina Faso and Venezuela aim to build strong, educated, and healthy communities. These sectors are essential for long-term national development and will help create a foundation for future generations. Military cooperation is another crucial aspect of the alliance. Venezuela has pledged to provide military support to Burkina Faso, which could help the nation strengthen its defense capabilities and maintain stability. This support is part of a broader strategy to resist external pressures and protect national sovereignty. The significance of these agreements extends beyond immediate benefits. They symbolize a commitment to a shared vision of development that prioritizes sovereignty and self-sufficiency over dependence on foreign aid and investment from traditional Western powers. This partnership reflects a broader trend of South-South cooperation, where developing nations collaborate to achieve mutual growth and independence. Now the question is, with these alliances in place, what are the broader international implications for Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso's alliance with Venezuela is part of a larger network involving South American countries and Russia. Historically, countries like Cuba, Venezuela, and Argentina have aligned with Russia, especially during the Cold War. Figures such as Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, and Che Guevara were prominent leaders who championed anti-imperialist movements, and their legacies continue to influence contemporary politics. Today, Venezuela's backing of Burkina Faso represents a continuation of this legacy. The alignment with anti-imperialist forces signals Burkina Faso's shift away from traditional Western alliances. Economically, these partnerships open new avenues for development in various sectors, including energy, agriculture, and education. Militarily, support from countries like Venezuela and Cuba, which have strong ties with Russia, could significantly enhance Burkina Faso's defense capabilities. This alliance could also impact regional dynamics in West Africa. Burkina Faso's defiance of Western powers and alignment with South America and Russia may inspire other African nations to reconsider their foreign policies. This could lead to a broader realignment in the region, challenging the existing power structures dominated by former colonial powers and their allies. Moreover, the growing ties between Burkina Faso and Venezuela could set a precedent for other African nations to pursue similar alliances. This trend could result in a more multipolar world, where power is distributed more evenly among different regions, reducing the dominance of Western nations. The potential for increased cooperation among countries in the global South could lead to new economic and political blocs that challenge the status quo and promote a more equitable global order. The realignment of Burkina Faso's foreign policy could also have implications for international organizations such as the United Nations and the African Union. These institutions may need to adapt to the changing dynamics and address the emerging needs and priorities of nations that are seeking greater autonomy and rejecting traditional power structures. The alliance with Venezuela and other South American countries also highlights the importance of South-South cooperation. This approach to international relations emphasizes solidarity and mutual benefit among developing nations, as opposed to the hierarchical relationships often seen with Western powers. South-South cooperation can provide a platform for countries to share knowledge, resources, and strategies for development, leading to more sustainable and inclusive growth. Furthermore, the geopolitical shift in Burkina Faso could influence global energy markets. As Burkina Faso strengthens its ties with Venezuela, a major oil-producing nation, it may gain access to valuable energy resources and expertise. This could enhance Burkina Faso's energy security and reduce its dependence on Western energy supplies. In turn, this could lead to shifts in global energy dynamics, with more countries looking to diversify their energy sources and build resilient energy infrastructures. How have the international community and regional bodies reacted to Burkina Faso's new alliances? The international community, particularly Western nations, has closely monitored the developments in Burkina Faso. In response to Burkina Faso's alliances with South American countries, Western nations have imposed sanctions on Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. These sanctions are aimed at pressuring these nations to reconsider their alliances and return to the fold of traditional Western allies.
The military juntas in West African nations Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger jointly announced their immediate withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States on Sunday. The juntas accused the regional economic bloc of imposing inhumane sanctions aimed at reversing recent coups in their respective countries. The joint statement broadcast on state television in all three nations asserted that the decision to withdraw was made in complete sovereignty, alleging that ECOWAS had deviated from the ideals of its founding fathers and Pan-Africanism after nearly 50 years of existence. The juntas contended that ECOWAS, influenced by foreign powers, had become a threat to its member states and their populations. This announcement follows a series of events that heightened political tensions in West Africa, including a coup in Niger last year. The three nations have recently formed the Security Alliance and severed military ties with France and other European nations, turning to Russia for support.
Despite these sanctions, Burkina Faso has received substantial support from its new allies. On July 2, 2024, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro sent a delegation to Burkina Faso to reaffirm South America's support. This visit underscored the deepening ties between the two regions and highlighted their shared commitment to mutual development. The delegation met with Ibrahim Traore, expressing military and economic support for Burkina Faso. These actions reflect a significant shift in Burkina Faso's foreign policy, moving away from dependence on Western nations and towards a more diversified and autonomous approach. This realignment has also sparked debates within Burkina Faso and among its allies about the best path forward. Some argue that aligning with anti-imperialist forces is the right strategy, while others believe that maintaining ties with Western nations is crucial for economic stability. The sanctions imposed by Western nations have not deterred Burkina Faso from pursuing its new alliances. Instead, they have strengthened the resolve of Traore's administration to seek alternative sources of support and cooperation. The support from Venezuela and other South American countries has provided Burkina Faso with the resources and confidence to stand firm against Western pressure. Regional bodies like the ECOWAS Economic Community of West African States have also reacted to Burkina Faso's new alliances. ECOWAS, which has traditionally aligned more closely with Western nations, has expressed concerns about Burkina Faso's shift in alliances. The organization has called for dialogue and reconciliation, emphasizing the importance of regional unity and cooperation. The reaction from ECOWAS highlights the tension between maintaining regional stability and respecting the sovereignty of individual member states. Burkina Faso's decision to align with anti-imperialist forces challenges the existing balance of power within the region and raises questions about the future of regional cooperation. ECOWAS must navigate these complexities carefully to avoid further destabilization while supporting the aspirations of its member states. International organizations such as the United Nations have also taken note of the developments in Burkina Faso. The UN has emphasized the importance of peaceful resolution of conflicts and respect for international norms and agreements. As Burkina Faso navigates its new alliances, the international community will be watching closely to ensure that the nation remains committed to upholding these principles. The responses from various international and regional bodies highlight the broader implications of Burkina Faso's geopolitical shift. While the nation seeks to assert its sovereignty and build new alliances, it must also navigate the complex web of international relations and maintain stability within its borders. The support from Venezuela and other allies provides a buffer against external pressures, but the path forward will require careful diplomacy and strategic planning. Given these actions and reactions, what are the potential future scenarios for Burkina Faso? The future of Burkina Faso's international relations hinges on several key factors. President Ibrahim Traore faces a critical decision. Should he continue to align with Venezuela, Cuba, and Russia, or should he reconsider his stance and return to the fold of ECOWAS, which aligns more closely with America and France? The support from Venezuela and other South American countries positions Burkina Faso to benefit from new economic and military partnerships. These alliances could lead to increased investment in critical sectors, bolstering the nation's development prospects. However, aligning with anti-imperialist forces also comes with risks, particularly in terms of potential economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation from Western nations. Alternatively, returning to ECOWAS and maintaining ties with Western nations could provide Burkina Faso with more immediate economic stability and access to international aid. However, this path may compromise the nation's desire for greater autonomy and resistance to neo-colonial influences. Ultimately, the decision will depend on a careful assessment of the benefits and risks associated with each path. President Traore must weigh the long-term strategic interests of Burkina Faso against the immediate economic and political pressures. The outcome of this decision will shape the nation's future and its place in the global arena. The strategic choices made by Burkina Faso will also have implications for other African nations. If Traore's approach proves successful, it could inspire other countries to pursue similar alliances and adopt more independent foreign policies. This could lead to a broader movement towards decolonization and self-determination across the continent. Additionally, the alliances with Venezuela and other South American countries could pave the way for new economic opportunities. Joint ventures in sectors such as energy, agriculture, and technology could stimulate growth and create jobs, contributing to Burkina Faso's overall development. The exchange of knowledge and expertise will also be crucial in building a resilient and self-sufficient economy. On the other hand, the risks associated with these alliances should not be underestimated. Economic sanctions from Western nations could impact trade, investment, and access to international markets. Diplomatic isolation could also affect Burkina Faso's ability to participate in global forums and influence international policies. These challenges will require strategic planning and effective diplomacy to navigate successfully. As Burkina Faso charts its course forward, it must also consider the domestic implications of its foreign policy decisions. Public opinion and support will be critical in ensuring the success of any chosen path. Engaging with civil society, building consensus, and maintaining transparency will be essential in fostering national unity and resilience. So, Burkina Faso stands at a crossroads, with its future direction hanging in the balance. Under the leadership of Ibrahim Traore, the nation has embarked on a bold journey to reclaim its sovereignty and forge new alliances. The expulsion of French troops and the subsequent partnerships with Venezuela and other South American countries marks a significant shift in Burkina Faso's geopolitical strategy. These alliances offer new opportunities for economic and military cooperation, but also come with potential risks and challenges. The international community's reactions, including sanctions from Western nations, underscore the high stakes involved in this strategic realignment. As Burkina Faso navigates this complex landscape, the decisions made by President Traore and his government will determine the nation's path forward. Whether Burkina Faso continues to strengthen its ties with anti-imperialist forces or opts to realign with traditional Western allies, one thing is clear: the nation is on the brink of a transformative journey. The future of Burkina Faso will be shaped by its ability to balance autonomy, development, and international relations in a rapidly changing world. Do you think Burkina Faso or any African nation needs West? Do they need an exploiter dressed as a friend? What would happen without these Western nations? Let us know in the comment section. What do you prefer Burkina Faso must do? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.